Okay, welcome to today's class, and today we'll be looking at preposition. We'll be talking about preposition. What do we need to know when we talk about UTME, use of English preposition? When we talk about UTME use of English preposition, what do we really need to know? So now, preposition is a word that shows the relationship between a noun and the other parts of the sentence. It shows the relationship between a noun and the other parts of the sentence. Your preposition typically shows location, it shows direction, it shows time. Examples of preposition: we have on, we have in, by, under, above, below, out, and like that, like that, like that. So now we'll be looking at recurring words in UTME use of English preposition. That is the likely words and the preposition you will come the likely words and the preposition used with them that you may come across when talking about UTME use of English. Now I will start with the first one, which is accustom. So when you use the word accustom, you use the preposition to. The preposition that goes with accustom is to. The second one is allergic to. When you say you're allergic to something, it means you react to a particular thing. We have people that are allergic to nuts, any type of nuts, maybe groundnuts, walnuts. We have people that are allergic to dust. Some people are allergic to dust. I'm not talking about asthma now in this case. I don't know if it is related to asthma, but some people are allergic to dust. Some people are allergic to seeing a lot of ants. You know, when you see ants, so many ants gathered in the same place, some people are allergic to that. So you are allergic to, some people are allergic to dairy products, milk, kinds of stuff like that. Stuff like that. Some people are allergic to it. So when you say you're allergic to something, it means you react to a particular thing, a physical reaction to a particular thing. Refrain from. Refrain from is, you refrain. When you use refrain, you use from. So you refrain from bad habits, you refrain from doing a particular thing. Desist also. When you use desist, the right preposition to use with that is from. Afraid of. You're afraid of something, you're afraid of someone. You are not afraid from or afraid to, rather you are afraid of. Call on. Call on means to summon someone, to call on someone. Just like when you say in time of trouble, you call on Allah. So you request whatever you want from him. You call on. Call on is to summon someone, to summon somebody. Harmful. When you use harmful, the right preposition is what? Harmful to. You use to as the preposition to harmful, not harmful at or harmful with. Harmful to. Call at. When you call at, it is specifically used for a place. When you call at a place, it means you briefly visit a place. To visit a place shortly, that is when you use call at. So you can have call on. The meaning of call on is different from call at, and it is also different from call for. When you use accordance, you use with. Accordance goes with the preposition with. Envious also goes with the preposition of. Envious of something, envious of someone. You know, when you're envious of someone, you're wishing that what they have belongs to you. You desire what they have. Oh, why is she the only one that will always put on new things? So that is a sign of envy. We beseech, we pray that Almighty Allah save us from that, from envy and envious people. So when you use averse to, when you're averse to something, it means you're reluctant to do some specific action, to carry out some specific action, to do some specific thing. So that is when you use averse. Made, you use made of. Made of. You have two preposition you can use with made. Made of, if I have more than two, but let me just talk about these two. Made of and made from. These two things are different. You know, you can say, oh, my bag is made of something. My this is made from something. So when do you use made of and when do you use made from? When you talk about made of is used when the raw material can still be seen. The raw material used in the production of that particular thing, if you can still see the raw material after the production, it means that you are going to use of with made. Let me give you an example. I have a bag now made I have a leather bag. Now I want to say the bag is made dash something. Am I going to say made from or made of? I am going to use made of. Why? Because that bag, I can still see the leather. It is made of leather, right? I have a leather bag. It is a leather bag. Now, it is made of leather. Why is it made of leather? Because I can still see that leather. I can still see that leather. Therefore, that bag is made of leather, not made from leather. Now, when do we use made from? You use made from when the material, that material that is used in the production of that particular thing, has undergone some significant transformation. And now it can no longer be in its original form. In simple words, that material cannot be seen. That is just the simple difference between made of and made from. In made of, you can still see the raw material. Even after the finished product, you can still see the raw material. For example, leather bag. But when you talk about made from, it means you can't see the raw material anymore. When you say made from, it means you can't see the raw material anymore. But you know that that thing is made with that particular raw material, but you can't see it anymore. So in that case, you use made from. In that case, you use made from. In that case, you use made from. I'm trying to get a good example. Now, when we talk about paper, when we say paper, it is made from what? What is paper made from?
Wood.
Chemistry students.
Wood.
Wool, fantastic. Paper is made from wool, right? Now, when you hold your paper or you hold your exercise book, can you still see the wool there? The wool is not visible anymore. It's already undergone some particular transformation. So you can't see the wool anymore. In that case, you are going to say my exercise book or my notebook is made from wool, because I cannot see that wool anymore. The raw material is not visible anymore. But when you use made of, it means the raw material is still visible. You can still see the raw material with which the product was made. Do you get the difference between made of and made from? Made of means I can still see the raw material. For example, leather bag. I can still see the leather with which the bag was made. Now, made from, it means I can't see the raw material that was used in making that particular thing. For example, your cloth now, consider your socks or your shirts or your top. It is made from a particular product, but can you still see that thing? No, you can't see it. So you use made from in that aspect. Now let's continue. Expert art. Expert art. When you say expert art, if someone is expert at something, you are expert at a skill or activity. Now, you're expert in a particular field of study. Expert on, you are expert on a specific subject. So now, it depends on what you have in the sentence. That is when you will know, am I using expert at or expert in or expert on? Let me come again. Expert at, skill or activity. When you say expert at, then you're talking about a skill or activity. Maybe jumping, dancing, skipping, cooking, activity or skill. When you say expert in, you are talking about expert in a field of study. Expert in a field of study. You can say, oh, she's an expert in biology. She's an expert in biology. Now, when you say expert on a specific subject. Expert on a specific subject. Now, the right thing to use with inquire is into. You inquire into. Insist. She insists on cooking the food. She insists on cooking the food. So you use insist with on. Grace. You use grace with in when you are talking about a field. You use grace with in when you are talking about what? A field. When you are talking about a field, you use grace in. We use grace in. Now you have grace on. Oh, this is a mistake here, please. Grace in is what you use with a field. But when you use grace without field in that sentence, you just pick on. This right here is a mistake. It is just grace on. Grace in is the one you use when you have a field. Persist in. Persist in. You persist. When you persist, the right preposition for that is in. Result in. result in, to result in something. And now you can have results in, you can have result from. You can have results in and you can have results from. Now you have rated. When you use rated, the right preposition to use with rated is for. Rated for.
Ma. Ma.
Do you have a question?
I think we all cannot see your screen, ma.
Subhanallah. So it means I have. Oh. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Learners have not been talking that they can't see my screen. Thank you for that. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Please unmute your mic and talk if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma. Yes,
Yes,
ma.
ma.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yes, ma.
So I started with accustomed to, we have allergic to, you have refrained from, you have desist from, afraid of, call on, harmful to, you call at. When I say when you call at, it means you briefly visit a place. Accordance with, in accordance with, in accordance with, envious of, averse to, made of. Now, when I mentioned made of, I explained something about made of and made from. When you say something is made of something, it means you can still see the material that was used in the production of that thing. But when you say made from, it means you can't see that material anymore. And I gave an example of leather bag. A bag is made of leather because I can still see the leather. That is why I used made of. Now my exercise book is made from wool. I can't see the wool anymore. The only thing I can see now is paper, my exercise book that I am writing in. That is the only thing I can see now. So I will say made from in that aspect and not made of. Now you have expert art. Expert art, expert art. Expert at a skill or activity, expert in a field of study, and expert on a specific subject. Now, when you use inquire, you use into. The right preposition to use with inquire is into. Insist on, insist on. When you say graze, graze in a field, graze in a field, graze in a field. Now, the next one is graze on. Yeah, I said this was a mistake here. A field is not meant to be with on. It is supposed to be with grace in. This was a typo. Persist in. The right preposition to use with persist is in. The next one you have your results. You have results in. Now you have stare at. You stare at something, you stare at someone. You don't say, oh, she's staring in me. How can she stare in you? So stare at, stare at. You have shuttle between. The bus shuttle between Kano and Jos. The bus shuttle between Kano and Jos. So you have shuttle between. Suffer from. When you use suffer from a particular thing. Prevent is used with from. Prevent is used with from. Now you have consideration. You have consideration of, and consideration from. Consideration of and consideration from. And this should be for, not from. Where did I see from? So when you say consideration of, it means you deliberating carefully on a particular topic or idea. To deliberate carefully on a particular topic or idea, that is consideration of. You consider consideration of. Now for consideration for, thoughtfulness or kindness towards someone. Thoughtfulness or kindness towards someone. Okay, contrary. When you say contrary, the right preposition to use with contrary is to. The right preposition to use with contrary is to. Now you have agree to. You agree to something. You agree to something. Okay, you also agree with. You don't agree to someone, you agree with someone, but you agree to something. Object. Object, you object to, you say, oh, I agree with you on that. You don't say I agree to you on that. No, but you say agree to something, agree with someone. Object, the right preposition for that is object to. Object to, you object to something. So now let's quickly go back to results. When you say results, I said you can have results in or result from. So when do you use results in? Result in is something that made something happen. To make something happen, that is result in. For example, the renovation of the house resulted in many deaths. I don't know, maybe they were killing people while renovating, I don't know. The renovation of the house resulted in many deaths. That is, the renovation led to. So the synonym for this you can use the synonym as lead to. Result in means lead to. Something that leads to something. So the renovation of that house leads to what? It resulted in what? Death. So when you have from, to result from is when you say result from, you're saying something happened because of something else that happened first. Result from means something happened because of something else that happened first. Now we have okay, I think we are here. Avail. Avail. When you say avail, the right preposition for that is of. Angry at and angry with. Angry at and angry with. You are angry at someone and you're angry with something. So let's take angry again. You're angry with someone. You're angry with someone, sorry. You're angry with somebody for doing a particular thing. And you're angry at something. You're angry at something and you're angry with someone for doing a particular thing. So you're angry with, when you use angry with, you're talking about a person. When you use angry at, you're talking about something. So angry at is used with something, while angry with is used with someone or somebody. Forbid from. Forbid, the right preposition to use with that is from. Forbid from. Forbid from. Now you have admit to. You admit to doing something. Admit to. Admit to doing something. By, you use up. You can use up with by. You can use out with by. You can use off with by. Look up to, you look up to someone, you look up to someone. Then when you say please, you use with please. When you say please, you use with please. Then you have made from. I think I have explained this before. It was just scattered. It wasn't the made from was not immediately after made of, so you have it here. Now we have some words that we call redundant preposition. When do you say redundant preposition? They are prepositions that are unnecessary. Unnecessary words that you have to sentences to repeat the meaning, making them grammatically incorrect or just wordy. For example, she solicited for funds when she went bankrupt. She solicited for funds when she went bankrupt. That is totally wrong. Because solicit itself means to ask for. So it's just like you're saying she asked for funds. If you want to write this now without using solicit, you want to use ask for. She asked for funds when she went bankrupt. So that is just like you're repeating the same thing. She asked for funds. That is wrong. She solicited funds. She solicited funds when she went bankrupt. So let's see some verbs that do not take preposition after them. We are going to look at some verbs that do not take prepositions after them. Now you have demand. Demand means to ask for something. So you won't say, oh, she demanded for money. She demanded for money. No, because demand itself already means what? To ask for something. So you don't demand for something, you demand something. Am I communicating, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you demand something. You do not demand for something, because demand itself means ask for. Ask for. So it's like you're saying she asked for something. She asked for something. That is just like a repetition. And even if you say she asked for something, that is grammatically incorrect. Discourse. Discourse means to talk about. Discourse means to talk about. So now if you're saying she discussed about the matter, she discussed about the matter. No, rather you say she discussed the matter. She talked about the matter. That is exactly what you're saying. So why should you say she talked about the matter again? So when you use discuss, you do not use any preposition with them. When you use demand, do not use any preposition with it. Demand is demand. She demanded explanation for my action. She demanded explanation for my action, not she demanded for explanation. She discussed the topic. She discussed the topic. Now, stress. To stress. Stress means to dwell on something. It's just like saying emphasize. Sure. So you don't say she stressed on. She stressed on. No, she stressed something something. Comprise means to consist of. So you can use consist of. Consist of is grammatically right, but when you use comprise, you don't use of with comprise. Rather you just use comprise like that. Request means to ask for. Request means to ask for. So you don't say she requests for something. Rather, you say she requests something. She requests something. Now, emphasize. Emphasize means to dwell more on something, to talk more on something. So you don't say emphasize on again. You don't say emphasize on. Rather, you stop at emphasize. Just emphasize. Now, the next one, we have solicit. Solicit means to ask for. So she solicited fund when she was ill. She solicited funds when she was ill. Not she solicited for fund. Seek. Seek. Seek means to look for. Seek means to look for. And sought is the past tense for seek. Sought, not sought that you do put in your stew. S-O-U-G-H-T. Sought. So when you use it in the present form or in the past form, you do not use a preposition after these verbs. When you use them in the present form or the past form, you do not use the preposition. Don't say, the one she explained to us was the present form now. She did not say we should not use it with past form. No. When you use these verbs, do in the present or past form, you do not use a preposition after them. Do you get it, please? I believe we are together. Now let's move to questions. Let's move to questions. Let's move to questions. Can you still see my screen? Please, if at any point you can't see my screen, kindly let me
Yes,
know.
ma'am.
Can you see my screen? Okay. Now I have some questions here. My little boy is hyperactive. My little boy is hyperactive and he is therefore prone dash accidents. A, with respect. B, for. C, to. D, about. E, as regards. Which of these is the right option? My little boy is hyperactive and he is therefore prone dash accidents. Note, these questions are not made up. They are from your past questions. These questions are from the past question. It is not just something I sat down to type on my own. My little boy is hyperactive and he is therefore prone dash accidents. I have A, with respect, accidents. B, prone for accidents. C, prone to accidents. D, prone about accidents. And E, prone as regards accidents. Which one is correct?
Pronto.
Prone to, good. So when you use prone, the right preposition to use after that is to. Prone to, you are prone to something, prone to something. My little boy is suffering dash jaundice. My little boy is suffering dash jaundice. A. Suffering from jaundice. B. Suffering of jaundice. C. Suffering with jaundice. D. Suffering for jaundice. And E. Suffering by jaundice. Which of this is correct? Is it suffering from? Is it suffering of? Is it suffering with? Is it suffering for or suffering by?
Suffering from.
From.
Suffering from jaundice. Suffering from jaundice. So here now, we have, for question 1, we have prone to, oh no. Question 1, I have prone to. For question 2, I have suffering from, is suffering from jaundice. For question 3, I have, you should show some consideration. You should show some consideration dash the feeling of others. You should show some consideration dash the feelings of others. I have A, with, B, about, A, with, B, about, C, by, D, to, and E, for. Is it consideration with, consideration about, consideration by, consideration to, or consideration for?
Consideration to.
Okay, I have one answer already. Consideration to, consideration to. Learners, other learners, please, let's hear from you. Is it consideration to, consideration for, consideration by, consideration about, or consideration with?
Ma, consideration for.
Why is it consideration for?
It is used for thoughtfulness or kindness to something.
Good job. So when you say consideration for, it means thoughtfulness or kindness to something. So showing consideration for the feelings of others. That is, you should show thoughtfulness for the feeling of others. Okay, let's continue. Question 4. The principal was able to establish a functional language laboratory for his school because he acted dash the advice of experts on the subject. The principal was able to establish a functional language laboratory for his school because he acted dash the advice of. So is it acted through, acted at, acted from, acted on, or acted by?
Acted on.
Acted on. So he acted on the advice. So this is a noun, not a verb.
Ma,
Yes, ma.
ma, you're not
I
checking
can hear
our
you.
income message. I said you're not checking our income messages.
Okay, you're dropping your answers there.
Yes, ma.
Oh, sorry. I actually am not checking the inbox message because I'm sharing the screen with my phone, and checking the inbox message means that I have to leave the screen, go back, come back here. So that is why.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just keep dropping your answers. I will get to see the answers. Drop your answers. Okay, every time you pay a bill, you must insist dash being given a receipt. Every time you pay a bill, you must insist dash being given a receipt. A, in. B, from. C, on. D, by. And E, onto. Every time you pay a bill, you must insist dash being given a receipt.
On.
Insist on, insist on, insist on. Good. He looked dash everyone in authority as an enemy. He looked dash everyone in authority as an enemy. So we have on, at, in, about, and against.
At.
He looked at. So he sees
At.
them. He sees everyone. He sees everyone in authority. He sees everyone in authority as an enemy. Okay, number 7. Grace must be allergic dash smoke because anytime she sits by someone who is smoking, she sneezed. Grace
2.
must be allergic dash smoke because anytime she sits by someone who is smoking, she sneezed. This should be she sneezes.
2.
A,
2.
so we have allergic to. She's allergic to something. Allergic to something. E, 8. The poor little kid has been down dash fever these days. The poor little kid has been down dash fever these days. I have with, I have from, I have in, I have for. So is it down with fever, down from fever, down in fever, or down for fever?
Down from.
Okay, Elena said down from. Let's hear from others.
With.
With. So you're actually down with something, not down from something. Now you have some words here that that wasn't included in the slide. So this is to tell you that it is not everything that you will see there. So some you get it from practicing question. So you have down with. The right preposition that goes with down is with. Down with. You're down with something. Down with illness. Number 9. My brother does not have a flair dash mathematics. My brother does not have a flair dash mathematics. So you have A, for, B, in, C, at, D, of.
In. In.
A, for. Okay, before you pick A, what does flair for it? What does flair mean? What is the meaning of flair? The person that picked A. You are actually correct. I'm not saying you are wrong. It is actually flair for. You have a flair for something. You have a flair for something. But then, what does it mean? This particular word, flair, what does it mean? Who knows the meaning of this word, flair? All right, let me just tell you the meaning. Let's not waste our time on this. So when you say flair, it is a noun, right? And it means a natural ability to do something well. A natural ability to do something well. The ability to do something well. That is what you mean by the word flair. The ability to do something well is what you mean by the word flair. And the right preposition that goes with this word is just for. Not flare at, not flare off, not flare in, but flare for. You have the flare, you have a flair for something. You have a flair for something. So now you have, my brother does not have a flair for mathematics. Okay, number 10. My goats are grazing dash the field. My goats are grazing dash the field. Are they grazing on the field? Are they grazing in the field? Are they grazing at the field or into the field?
A.
On.
On. They are grazing on the field. Oh, now I see where the mistake is from. Remember I said the other time that when you use graze in with field. I already mentioned this, that the graze on you saw the other time was a mistake. A field was not supposed to be at the front of that graze on. It was supposed to be at the front of graze in. So when you use graze in, is when you talk about a feed. So they are grazing in the field. Okay, that's, I think I caused this because I had a typo error that made my the field to be after graze on rather than graze in. So you have graze in the field. When you say the field or when you mention field in that sentence, then graze in should be used. Oh, I can see Maro go. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can see your screen. Oh, thank God for the person that unmute her mic and talked about this. What about disappointed? Disappointed. Okay. Now, when you say disappoint, you have some prepositions you can use with disappoint. Now, I have this question. This question is from Elena, and I want to address that now. When you say disappoint, are you saying disappoint in, disappoint with, disappoint at, disappoint by, or something, or disappoint to? So let me clear this. When you say disappoint in, you can use in with disappoint. You can use with disappoint. You can use at, and you can use by. You can use in, you can use with, you can use at, and you can use by. So let me explain this one after the other. When you say disappoint in, you're disappointed in someone. You are disappointed in someone. You are disappointed in. So when you say disappoint in, you use that for someone. You're disappointed in someone. You are disappointed in someone. Now, disappoint with is used with what? Something. Disappoint with. Oh, I was disappointed with the service she rendered. I was disappointed with the service she rendered. You're not going to say, I am disappointed in the service she rendered. I am disappointed with the service she rendered. Now, disappoint at something. Disappoint at something. I was disappointed at the results. I was disappointed at the results. Despite the preparation, I was disappointed at her results. Now, you can also have disappoint to. Disappoint to. Disappoint to. I was disappointed to hear that news. I was disappointed to hear that news. So let me pick it. Let me take it again. Disappointed in. When you say disappoint in, you're talking about someone. You are disappointed in someone.
We can't see your screen now.
Yes, that is because I am not sharing my screen anymore. I am answering the question now. And this particular question she asked is not on my screen. I'm just answering it. That's why you can't see my screen. I'm not sharing the screen anymore. Thanks for calling my attention to that. Now, when you say disappoint in, let me take it again. You are disappointed in someone, and you can be disappointed. You can be disappointed in someone or in something. Yeah. You can be disappointed in someone or in something. For example, I am disappointed in you. I am disappointed in you. Now, the other one, you are disappointed in something also. She is disappointed in her results. She is disappointed in her results. She is disappointed in her results. Now, when you say disappoint with, you are disappointed with something. You are disappointed with something. Oh, I am disappointed with the service she rendered. I am disappointed with the service she rendered. Now you're disappointed at something. You are disappointed at something. You are disappointed at something. You are disappointed at something. Now you have disappoint to also. I am disappointed to hear the news. I am disappointed to hear the news. Okay. Do you have any question? Any other question? Let's see. Let me check the box. Crave. crave? Is it crave for or just crave? Is it crave for or just crave? Learners, please start dropping your question. I only have one learner dropping questions. Don't you have questions? So now let's take crave. When you say crave, you can either use crave alone or use crave for. Both are right. So when you say crave, correct. When you say crave for, correct. So you crave for something. For example, the baby craved for attention. The baby craved for attention. The baby craved for attention. And you can also crave something without using for. I crave peace. I crave peace. I crave peace. But when you want to use preposition with crave, the right preposition to use with crave is for. What does that word particularly? What does this mean? Do you know the word or you are just using the word like that? So when you say crave, crave means a strong desire, a strong desire or something you want strongly. Something you want strongly, a strong desire or something you want strongly. Any other question, please? Ask your question. Ask your question. Ask your question. Have I answered your question? Rohima, I hope I have answered your question. You asked 2 questions. I hope I have answered your question. Okay, is it aim for or aim at? Is it aim for or aim at? Now you can have aim at and aim for. What is the difference between these two? Aim at and aim for. When you use aim at, you are talking about pointing something towards something. When you are talking about pointing something towards something, then that is aim at. Pointing something towards something, you use aim at. But when you use aim for, you are talking about a goal or a result you want to achieve. To aim for success, to aim for A, to aim for 350 plus in this upcoming examination, to aim for excellence. So when you use aim for, you are talking about a target. You're talking about a target or something you want to achieve. That is when you use aim for. Oh, I am aiming for success. Oh, I am aiming for 350 plus in my upcoming examination. Let's continue, please. So when you use aim for, you are talking about something you are trying to achieve. Something you are trying to achieve. But when you use aim at means to direct something towards something. So, for example, now you can aim at um your target. You can aim at your target. For example, you want to kill something. So you can aim at a lion. Aim at a lion. Using your weapon or something, aim at. So you aim at means to direct towards something. Or when you use aim for, you are talking about what you want to achieve. You aim for success. You aim for success, and you aim at the bird or the lizard. It means you want to kill the lizard. You're directing a particular thing towards that thing. Have I answered your question, please? Okay, why are you smiling? Lizard. You want to eat lizard? Another, is it slap in the face or slap on the face? Oh, if you cannot hear anything, I think it should be your internet connection. If you cannot hear anything. Another nearest meaning we can use for being Barua, please, I do not understand your question. Can you rephrase your question, please? Okay, so the question on the Lawal Rodia. Slap in the face or slap on the face. Slap in the face or slap on the face. So the literal meaning, when you talk about this slap in the face, the basic meaning is to physically hit someone. To physically hit someone's face. That is just the basic meaning, to slap someone in the face, right? But when you say slap on the face, it is a big slap on your face. So on the face is a figurative expression. Slap on the face is a figurative expression. So it means that you cannot take the meaning literally, just like the other one. You can't take the meaning literally. Rather, slap on the face means an insult. Oh, it's a big slap on your face. It's a big slap on your face. The boy's refusal felt like a slap on my face. So when you say slap on the face, when you say slap, to slap in the face, it means to physically hit someone. But you can also use slap in the face. Sorry, I said slap on the face. Now slap in the face. Slap in the face is to physically hit someone. While slap on the face, so I think slap in the face is actually the standard one and not slap on the face. So you can use slap in the face to mean basic meaning like you slapped someone in the face. But when you want to use it as a figurative expression, then it means insult or something offensive. Insult or something offensive. So something can be a slap in the face. That is, you use it as a figurative expression rather than the basic meaning it would have. Returning my gift without checking it is a big slap in the face. returning my gift without checking it is a big slap in the face for me. So it's just saying returning my gift without checking it is a big insult for me. It's just like you are not appreciating me. I gave you a gift, and instead of you to just, even if you want to return it, just check it out first and say thank you or something. And so, okay, thank you, but I wouldn't be needing this. Slap in the face can be used as a literal word, and it can be used as a figurative one. Slap in the face as a literal word, it means to give to slap someone in the face, to slap someone in the face. But when you are using it as an idiomatic expression or a figurative expression, then you talk about it as insulting, rejection, or disrespect. Insulting, rejection, insult, rejection, or disrespect. That is when you are talking about it as a figurative expression. But for slap on the face, I think it is out of it. Have I answered your question, please? Okay, do we say good in mathematics or good at mathematics? Are you using good? Will you say good in something or good at something? Let's look at the difference between the two. So when you use good at, then you are talking about skills. When you use good at, you are talking about skills, abilities, specific activities that somebody can do. When you use good at, you are talking about skills or the person's ability or specific activities. So you say, I am good at swimming. I am good at swimming. I am good at swimming. I am good at jumping. I am good at cooking. But when you say good in is basically used for performance in school subjects. Good in is basically used for performance in good subjects. Basically, you use good in for what? Performance in school subjects. So you say she is good in mathematics. She's good in chemistry. She's good in this, she's good in that. So you can have she's good at singing. She is good at cooking. He is good at playing chess. He is good at playing Scrabble. But she is good in history. He is good in biology. Have I answered your question, please? Have I answered your question, please?
Yes, ma.
Okay, to be off color, what is the correct idiomatic expression for that? I don't understand what you're saying here, but off color is off color. That is the idiomatic expression itself. So if you are saying what is the correct idiomatic expression for that again, I do not think I understand what you're saying here. Off color is an idiomatic expression itself. So that's this word off color is that idiomatic expression. So I am off color. It means I am slightly ill. I am not feeling good. Barua, have I answered your question? So off color is the idiomatic expression. There is nothing like the correct idiomatic expression for that again. The nearest in meaning. Okay, if you don't know what to use off color, what else can you use in that case, right? Okay, if you don't want to use off color, you can also use under the weather. If you don't want to use off color, you can also use what? Under the weather. So you have wash out too. Wash, like to wash something, then out. Wash out. Have I answered your question? All right. Do we have another question? When you use indulge, the right preposition to use with indulge is in. Indulge in a particular thing. Indulge in a particular activity. Indulge in something. Ask your questions, please. Cut off eyes. Before you ask me for the nearest meaning, what is the meaning of cut off eyes itself? So the idiomatic expression itself is not cut off eyes. It is cut no eyes. Cut no eyes. Not cut off eyes. Cut no eyes. So when you say cut no eyes, it means to have no effect. When something has no effect or influence on you, then you say cut no eyes. Cut no eyes means to have no effect, to have no impact on you. To have no effect on someone. That is cut no eyes. Cut no eyes. Not cut off eyes, okay? It is cut on eye. Okay, cut no eyes. That was okay. So cut no eyes means when something has no effect on you, then you say cut no eyes. So you're asking for the nearest in meaning. For the nearest in meaning. Why do you keep asking for nearest in meaning? So the nearest to meaning that you can use for cut no eyes is just, we can say fall flat, fall flat, fall flat. When something has no effect on you, fall flat. You can also have carry no weight, carry no weight, carry no weight. So I think I have answered your question. For cut no eyes, you can have it to be fall flat as the synonym or carry no weight. When something doesn't have an effect on you, that idiomatic expression is cut no eyes. And if you don't want to use that, what you can use instead, you can have fall flat or carry no weight. Now to another question. Is there a difference between made of and made up of? Is there a difference between made up and made up of? Okay. Okay, remember what we said about made of the other time? We said made of means um when you use made of, when you can still see the raw material that a particular substance, that a particular product was produced of. When you have a particular product produced from something and you can still see that raw material, that is when you use made of. Now when do we use made up of? Made up of, when you use made up of, you are talking about the components, the parts or members that constitute to a whole. The components or parts or members that constitute a whole. What do I mean by that? Let me give an example. Okay, you can say the human body is made up of The human body is made up of, so you can now start listing the parts. The head, the eye, the this, the that. So when you say made up of, it is the parts or members that constitute a whole, that comes together to form a whole. That is when you use made up of. But when you use made of is used when the raw material that is used in the production of something is still visible. Have I answered your question? Just like the door is made of metal. The door is made of what? Metal. When you can still see that metal, then you say the door is made of metal. But when you say made up of, then you are talking about the part that comes together, all the parts that comes together to form a whole. Have I answered your question, please?
Yes, ma.
Okay, good. Okay. I think with this,